Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Post Juve 1, Verona 0, 3 points remains in Torino. We are climbing back the ranking of Serie A, and that's probably the only beautiful thing that we have to remember from the game of yesterday. There were other beautiful things, but honestly, a lot of them were absolutely not nice. And I will try to guide you through the game to understand what we have to improve, because we have 9 games in April. One we already played, we won. Great, fantastic, but playing as we did yesterday will probably not be enough to continue to win in Coppa Italia, in Europa League, and also in the remaining games of Serie A. Put a maximum of like if you didn't yet. If you didn't yet subscribe to the channel, road to 25k, that's the next target of the channel. Now we open the pages immediately. Let's pretend that we didn't watch the game yesterday. Are the papers telling us what we saw yesterday, yes or no? Tuttosport, Festa Juve, Party Juve. Beautiful performance, we see it with Kean showing the logo of Adidas, telling I am the man that unlocked that game. Festa Juve, Party Juve. Was it a party yesterday? Tell me in the comment. Corriere dello Sport is opening with Arrieccola, a Roman word to say she is back. The old lady is back. Where? Well, that close to go back in the top 4, because we can say whatever we want, but at the moment, without Lazio and Milan playing, because we don't know the result yet, we are at -4 of the Champions League qualification, still with a -15 points. Gazzetta dello Sport, well, you have to look, you have to zoom to understand if they are speaking about Juve. They are doing it with the title La Juve va al max, Juventus go to the max. Well, if you didn't watch the game yesterday, with the 3 papers, looks like Juventus did a fantastic performance, that probably we won 3 or 4-0 against a bottom team of Serie A, against a relegation team that is Verona, that is having a really disaster season. Well, this is not really the truth. We have 2 aspects that we have to take into consideration analyzing the game. The first one we see in the double page of Gazzetta, sempre Allegri, always happy. And yesterday after the game he said, we were good to win a game that was really dirty. What about Inter? They are at -9, because this is a reality. On the field, Inter with 10 losses in Serie A is -9 from Juve, and we all remember how Inter was considered the strongest one of Serie A, even stronger than the Napoli that we are seeing that are doing fantastic things. They are speaking, of course, about Federico Chiesa. New problem for Federico Chiesa. I will close the video with that news, so remain on the channel. Max all'arrabbiata, più attenzione. Max all'arrabbiata, the tomato sauce that is a bit picante, because yesterday he was annoyed. He even left the game 1 minute before the triple whistle because he was pissed off. So how do we analyze the 2 things? Max always happy, sempre Allegri, and Max all'arrabbiata. Well, the first thing is we have to consider everything. Maxi turnover with some choices that were not perfect. A Barrenechea starting, great, fantastic, beautiful. A next-gen project that yesterday was announced as really first team player, but he started as a mezzala, and we all noticed that it was not working. I was expecting a Max Allegri to change Barrenechea again in a regista role instead of changing him at second half. Well, he didn't in that first half, and unfortunately the performance of Enzo Barrenechea was not fantastic. But except of the turnover with Rabiot suspended, with Paredes suspended, with Chiesa at home, with Pogba at home, with a lot of players not even starting, like Kostic, Vlahovic, Di Maria, I understand all these kind of things. I understand that coming back from the international break, when you are coming back, it's always difficult against a team that had 2 full weeks with their best team to prepare the game, and you have all your players traveling around the world, like Di Maria arriving only on Friday. I understand all the excuses, but on the other side, I see Max all'arrabbiata, because whatever happened, whoever you are playing, the player that started yesterday, they all remained in La Continassa. Well, they had to perform better, much better, because it's not normal that at the 55th minute after the goal of Kean, you enter that panic mode, and you are not able anymore to be in control of the game. It's not defending, defending, and I will show you with some graphs that Max's intention was not to defend after the goal, but you go in panic mode and you are obliged to defend because of the pressing of Verona that you are keeping alive. So things that we already saw so many times this season and we can't repeat. Like start, we go, the first whistle of the game, what is happening? We have De Sciglio on the left side of the field, and immediately he's burned in velocity by the right side players of Verona. We are there at 1 minute 30. Immediately an action that we already saw. In velocity, he's not able to keep the space. Don't tell me that he's tired, we just started the game. Then across, and we see that De Paoli is totally unmarked, something that didn't work. We could have conceded immediately at the 2nd minute of the game, and we already saw that we start the game like Atalanta and so on, and we concede immediately because we didn't enter with full focus. Attenzione Juve. Well, what happened after that first shot of De Paoli? Well, it means that Juventus is starting to gain control of the game. We are again the boss in our home. We have 65% ball possession. First half is absolutely not entertaining. Looks like nothing is happening, but we see a Juventus that wants to play, a Juventus that is never risking. What is the problem? You don't risk, but you are not creating. Because when you are seeing the shots, well, the attempts, 3 of them or 4 of them from out of the box, only 1 comes from inside the box after a corner kick with a header of Bremer. Taking that ball, putting it not in corner kick, but taking it in the throw-in. A total disaster first half that was not beautiful to see, but I was absolutely not worried, because I knew that on the bench you have some weapons like Kostic, like Vlahovic, like Di Maria, and I'm expecting them to change it. Not a lot of beautiful things in terms of pattern, except of something that we are doing better. It means attacking also the second post, and Fagioli movement and Milik movement were really fantastic. We didn't score with a shot of Cuadrado that was deflected and were not conceded the corner kick. Again, strange performance of the referee, but what do we see on these images? That Fagioli as a mezzala is going into the box on the first post, while Milik is attracting the defense to the second post, making sure that he's ready to take it with a header. Cuadrado is going with a shot. Anyway, it didn't happen, but I appreciated that movement, and it's probably the only thing that I appreciate in the first half. Then we see Alessandro Del Piero, of course, another thing that I really loved. Alessandro Del Piero, c'è solo un capitano, with all the stadium that was again silent yesterday, except when we had to say hello to our number 10, with a lot of people before the game telling him vieni in società, abbiamo bisogno di te, come back in the club, we need you. Well, half-time, what is happening? A big change that you probably didn't notice. Milik started the game with blue shoes. Well, at half-time he's changing them. He's going with flashy green shoes. Probably to say we have to do better. We need to do better. I have to do better. Is that changing? Well, in a way, yes. In a way, not, because we see that immediately at the 55th minute, we see that we have a fantastic, beautiful thing here with Danilo giving the ball to Miretti. Look at the movement of Locatelli that is already saying, I will go up. Look at the arm movement of Locatelli already calling for the ball. Miretti saw immediately with a one touch, and then you see also the beautiful assist of Locatelli. Locatelli that is already watching Moiskin, and you can see it from the other side. Moiskin going into that space. Fantastic movement from the number 18 from Juve that is then able to score. Of course, it was not enough, because when we see that Juventus in the first 60 minutes was really predictable and playing only on the right side, we were all expecting that with the changes, with Kostic entering, Juventus would have been able to change side from the right side, from the left side, something that totally didn't happen. Another thing that you didn't notice is the performance of Locatelli, that after the goal, he celebrated first alone with his fist, saying, yes, I am super happy for the assist, but then we saw also him indicating the name of Moiskin, telling he was the one. Please applaud him, please celebrate Moiskin. Leadership skills that are really fantastic and really beautiful. I appreciated the performance of Locatelli. For me, man of the match. But what is the problem? We score and we go in panic mode. If you don't believe me, look at the 5 next minutes. The 5 minutes that are following that 1-0 of Juve. Juve goes immediately in panic mode with, in the 5 next minute, 75% ball possession for Verona, and they are 35% of the time in our final final third, a total disaster. If you're looking at the next 15, in the total next 15 after the goal, well, you see that it's not changing a lot, with Verona a lot present into our box in our final third with 32%. Juventus needs to wake up, and we try with Di Maria and Vlahovic and Kostic. This is what we want to do, putting them offensively. And if you are looking at their average position of the field, you see that they are much higher than in the first half with Milik, for example. So Juventus wants to put some dominance up on the field, but it's absolutely not working because the three changes are absolutely not changing the game. Di Maria yesterday, he entered, and I don't know, maybe he's still celebrating the World Cup because he come back from Argentina. Yesterday he wanted to have fun, and I love to have fun, why not? But not in a game where you are winning only 1-0 with the performance. It's not enough when we are expecting some creativity and you are not able to offer it. Look at that. He is alone. It's a 3 versus 2. He sees that De Sciglio is on the right side. He decides not to go to De Sciglio. He sees that Vlahovic is on his left side unmarked. He decides not to go to Vlahovic, not once, but also not twice. He's deciding to go on target with a really weak shot. We need more from Di Maria. We can excuse one game. Okay, but yesterday he made me really angry. He didn't perform as I was expecting. Neither him, neither Kostic, that was a ghost, probably scared to force for his injury from the Serbian national team. Neither Vlahovic, that looked totally nervous, and that's something that I absolutely not understand. Now, if we go back to the big page of Tuttosport, and the beautiful news, La Juve in volo. Juventus is flying because we are still more and more second, alone, isolated second. Forget about the Scudetto, not possible, and now we have to think about Inter. Inter that yesterday totally flopped, they lost 1-0 versus Fiorentina, with a Lukaku, that confidence level, and with a Simone Inzaghi that will play his destiny, his future at Juve in the next 3 games. Juve, Salernitana and Benfica. Coppa Italia, Serie A and Champions League. To understand if yes or no he can continue with Inter, pay attention. The Inter that we saw losing 3 games consecutively before and after the international break, it will not be the same in our stadium because they will look for revenge. They rotated also a lot of players. They want to go and win that first game. Juventus needs to do better than what we did against Verona. Were we already thinking too much about that game? Were we already starting to manage the 9 games of April? It can be, but anyway, we have to do better. Now we have to speak a bit in closing the video about Federico Chiesa. New problem here, because even if the test in Italy, the test in Austria with Dr. Fink are all positive and are all okay, Chiesa is still hurt. He's still feeling some pain. And Friday, the day before Allegri said that he would not be called up against Inter, the day before he was increasing the voice, had a really severe talk with the doctors, with the physiotherapists, with the technical and medical staff of Juve, that were telling him you are able to force. The doctors are saying it. You are okay, you are healthy, you can force, but he said, no, I can't. I still feel some pain. So we need to understand, to do more tests to understand where that pain is coming from. Is it only something mentally? Is it really something that we didn't discover yet? So they will go with more in detail, in-depth tests to understand it. Will he be there versus Inter? Well, according to Allegri, what he said before, yes. But with these last news, it could be that he's also missing the game of Coppa Italia. I would personally not risk Federico Chiesa. If he's feeling well, if he's doing well, you call him up. If he's not, take time. I know it's frustrating for him. He wants to be there. He wants to help the team, but give him time. I prefer Federico Chiesa that we give time and that we have at 100% next season than the Federico Chiesa that is playing with some fear. I don't like that. Then, speaking about the last topic, it's the new shirt of Juventus that you can see here. Yesterday it was shown, apparently according to a lot of people, this should be the correct shirt of next year, 23-24. A lot of controversy. We don't like the yellow, we don't like the zebra, we don't like it's the worst shirt of the world. Some people are saying I don't understand because I really love it. So if you are still there at the end of the video, let me know your comment, your thoughts, without being influenced by other people, your opinion about that shirt and also about the game. Grazie, forza, Juve.